Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how I did my hood for my Corazon cosplay that I wore today. Yeah, like I initially looked for guides on the internet on how to make it, but I couldn't find any, so I kind of had to wing it, and I was quite happy with how it turned out. There might be better ways to do it, but this is how I did it, and I'm really happy with it. So I'll just walk you through what I did. First I found a hoodie that I wasn't using that had like I had a hood, so then I cut the hood off. This is mainly because I didn't know how to make a hood. So that's the hood of a hoodie, just a normal one that I was wearing, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm wearing it. Okay, so that's what it looks like when I'm wearing it. So I just needed an idea of how to make this shape, but obviously I wanted to make it more bigger, I think, because Corazon, I don't know, it just feels like it was a bit baggier, especially because when I was wearing a wig it needs to be a bit lower at the back anyways. So then I went and bought some material, but I'll tell you in a second. Okay, so this is a finished product, but basically then I went to Spotlight, or just some shop that sells fabric, and I found like a colour of the red that I wanted. There's all different shades of red, but I wanted it to be this colour. It's kind of a felt-like material, but I don't know, pick whichever material you like. So what I did, I think I bought about 2 meters of it, but it was a lot. I didn't use a quarter of it, but I like to have it more than rather than less. So anyway, I laid the material out, and then I put this hood on top of the material, right, in the corner. So what I did was I left maybe about that much, just a tiny bit amount on that side, so that I could do that fold in for this part, because I think it looks good with the folding in. And also the first one I cut it exactly the right shape of this. Well, not that part, but I don't know what I did about it. But I forgot that, because I was going to do 2 pieces, sew them together. So I think I had to do it again, and I had to make sure to leave like just a little bit of space at the top, and even like on the sides when I was cutting it. I used like a white chalk, you know, fabric cutter's chalk on the, so imagine I've got the material underneath, so I left about 1 centimeter or something, because then what happens was I would sew the 2 pieces together, and so when I sewed it, the line would be about there. So it's good to have a bit extra material, so that when you do, because when you sew it, then you flip it inside out, and then the thing's on the inside. So it's hard to explain it this way, but hopefully you get what I mean, what I did. So basically, I left a little bit on this side, and then a little bit all around there, all the way down to how long you want the heart. You know how he has the 2 strips with the heart at the end? So I think when I did it, I had a measurement. I left it about 78 centimeters or 30 inches. Kind of like, but really it's up to you how long you want it. Anyways, I felt it was good to have it longer, and then if I wanted to cut it short I could. Anyways, I made it that length, and then I think when I was cutting it, I decided that I wanted to make, instead of cutting in here, I left like 1 hand, 2 hands, and then at that point I would cut it down a little bit. Because then I knew that once I'd made that part, I could trim it if I needed it. So I did that, and I did end up trimming it quite a fair bit. Okay, so in the end I had like a piece of material, and then what I did was I cut 2 of them. So imagine this is not cut yet. I had 2 of them, and then what I did was if you're a sewer, you probably know how to do this anyway, but this is how I did it. I got pins, and I pinned them together, just so that they wouldn't slip a lot. And then I got my sewing machine and just sewed around the edge, all the way down to, I don't know how far I had it. And you know how to do it when you sew, you just do the backwards part, just to seal it off anyways. I don't know. So then I sewed it, and then once you've sewed it, then you flip it inside out, so that it's got, so I'll show you. Inside out. So that's when I sewed it, right? And then I flipped it inside out. Okay, at that point what I did was I put it on my head, this thing, and I kind of figured out how much of this double, what do you call it? When you fold it over itself. because it kind of looks nice, I think, when it's got that line around that part. So I figured out how much I want that to be around, so I'll just show you on myself. Okay, so it goes to about there, but remember when you're wearing a wig, it's going to sit a bit higher. Anyways, I did the thing where I sewed that in like that. So you fold it in, and also I pinned it, and then I sewed that line just to give that nice edge. And then what happened was from here, it's hard to explain, but it came out like that because I just pinched that part in. So then, hard to explain without doing it, but what I ended up doing was cutting a line where I finished this part, cutting it. So then this part, there was a flap hanging out there, and then I would just cut that flap, which was about that wide, all the way down until I got to the end. So I'd cut it down all the way to end. And so here, before I cut it actually, I used the chalk and kind of drew in the heart. So you can kind of make it whatever shape or whatever size you want. And then from here, although it was much lower, I had like a kind of a diagonally line here, because I figured that later on, if I need to, I could trim it, which I did. And so basically I used chalk to make this shape. Then I cut it, and then I put this over the second bit, traced it with the chalk and cut it again. And so from there, it was like, I would say maybe lower than that. Then I tried it on my head and figured, it looks too big, this part. So then I would cut up a little bit, or cut up a little bit and slowly kind of shape it to what I wanted. And it ended up, I'll tell you the measurements of what I ended up with. So I've got 25 centimeters or 10 inches that way. 29 centimeters, 11.5 inches from there to there roughly. And then the length I told you was 78 centimeters or 30 inches there. But really, you play around with what you want. And so once that was done, that was basically it. So basically, once you get to this stage, I left it bigger and just cut trial and error, and until you get what you want. And that's what worked for me, because for a long time I was thinking, how am I going to make this hood for Corazon? And I just couldn't think of how to do it, but that's how I did it today, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'll show you the photos, or actually, I'll put it on. Okay, so that's the hood when I'm wearing it, and obviously I had my shirt on and then the big feathery coat as well, so that's how I made the hood, and I'm quite happy with it. So without any further ado, so I'm going to finish off with this. Silence.